Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, if you want to support my brand, I'm building with my community. It's inspiredbydreams.shop. That's the place to go to get your drip on, and it got a lot of original pieces I put in there for you guys, and a lot more new designs to come. Okay, today's episode is the dynamics between American culture and European culture.
What?
And I did not know that there was friction, but that's my fault, because why would I think that there won't be friction in these times in any little thing we do, any little culture? There's so many frictions going around all around the place. We really got to come to some kind of conclusions in these situations, because most likely it's just different dynamics on people, the way they grew up, their environment, the way they was raised, and then you grow out of that and take the things with you that you truly believe that's dear to you, and you can pass on to you and yours and your kids, and that's how it keeps going. The cycle continues. Okay, so today we're just going through this conversation of American culture and European culture. Let's get it.
Mickey made it. Mickey made what you made, Mickey.
Forget about the way it used to be. This is not a damn democracy. We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law.
America, I have just learned something very intimate about you, and I apologize in advance, Dad, please do not watch this video. So I'm a Scot living in America, and I noticed a bunch of cultural differences, and this one came from the most unlikely place, and it was when I was watching Married at First Sight. So all the women in this episode are chatting about who they think their husband's going to be. It's like, is he going to be tall? What's he going to do for work? And then it was like, is he going to be circumcised? And the woman was like, well, he better be. Like, I've never seen an uncircumcised man. I wouldn't know what to do. And I was like, what? Because in the UK, like, me and my friends have never seen a circumcised guy. Like, it's not the normal. There was this guy in our high school that had to get circumcised for, like, medical reasons. And it was actually quite a shame, because then he was known as, like, the circumcised guy. Like, so I started Googling, because I was like, what? Is this just her, like, you know, lifestyle or people she dates? 80% of American males over the age of 20 are circumcised. Whereas in the UK, only 20% are circumcised. And other places in Europe, it's even lower. I think Germany was like 12%. So this is definitely like an American trait. And my mind is blown. Like, I need to text all of my American friends and ask them. Because that's not what we're used to in the UK. Let me know what you think. Sorry if this was a bit TMI, but I am like shocked. Every day's a school day.
Why are British people so obsessed with Americans? Well, I'm a British person, and I'm going to tell you the exact reasons as to why me, a British person, is obsessed with you, Americans. Number one, literally from the day we are birthed out our mother's womb, American shows are put on our TV screens, and I, as a child, was obsessed with the American accent. I thought it was the creme de la creme of accents, to the point where I genuinely would convince myself that I was American sometimes. That's why I've perfected my American accent so well. Number two, the advertising that America does for everything just blows every other country out of the water. The sheer advertisements of, like, Nerds, Jolly Ranchers, you know, Captain Crunch cereal, that is American culture to me. Is why I spent £5, $8 on a cereal box of Captain Crunch when I was a child. I remember literally buying a box of Nerds for £6. And it was because they just landed in the UK, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm living my American dream.
As an American traveling around Europe, we had to talk about this. I'm currently in Finland, but most countries I go to around Europe always talk about how Americans are self-centered and how the world always revolves around the US. But the crazy part is, when I turn on the news, it's American politics. And even when I was playing basketball at the local courts in Finland, the kids were speaking American English. They were saying stuff like, oh, you're garbage, bro, or pass me the ball, but then mixed in with Finnish. They call it Finnish English. And the wildest part, the thrift stores. Come look at this. 90% of the thrift stores I've been to all have American gear. Colleges, pro teams, NFL teams, basketball teams, everything. They even got a proud to be an American shirt in Finland. Even with the food. The Cool Ranch Doritos literally say Cool American, bruh. Though some Americans can be a bit proud, It's not really our fault. You go anywhere around the world and the American influence is everywhere, and we can't really help that.
Someone's gonna get mad, but British people are some of the most unwelcoming people to Americans.
So that creator is not lying, and I have a unique perspective on this. So I've lived between the US and the UK, and whenever I go to the US, everyone thinks I'm British. And whenever I go to the UK, almost everyone thinks that I'm American. Neither is true. I'm not British or American. And because of my accent and what they perceive me to be, I can tell their reaction to me and how they treat me. So when I lived in the US and I was talking to people, they thought that I was British. And when they'd hear me speak, their eyes would kind of widen up and they'd be like, oh my gosh, you're British? That's so cool. Like, nice to meet you. And a lot of them would be really welcoming and they would want to have more conversations with me and find out more about me. I think that's just how Americans are in general. And I also side-eye Americans because I think whenever they hear British, they think of Harry Potter and Bridgerton. But either way, I feel like they're a lot more welcoming and more open to getting to know you. When I'm in the UK, where I am now, whenever I talk to people, I just think there's this kind of look I get, or there's this kind of vibe or energy shift. For example, when I spoke to someone and he was explaining something to me, he was like, oh, but you Americans wouldn't get that. And I just sit there like, I'm not American. What now? And this guy was like, oh, sorry, but your accent, I thought you were American. I personally think there's a bit of a superiority complex that some British people have towards Americans. They can be very loud, obnoxious, they have no sense of space around them. But you can say the same thing about British people, especially whenever they travel to different countries. So yeah, I just wanted to add my experience. I have nothing else to add, but yeah.
Whenever I leave the country and people hear my accent, I immediately always say I'm from New York. I'm never American. There's something intrinsically different about being an American abroad than being from New York or, let's say, LA, California. Europeans in general have this innate view of Americans that we are dumb, we're ignorant, we're uncultured, yada yada, the list goes on. But they all consume American media so much, they have this like desire to go see New York, go see the big city, go see LA. Guy that was sitting across from me asked for cheese for his pasta. And in Europe, whenever you're served food, you eat it as is. They have no substitutions. So when he did that, she looked at me and made a funny face, and I was like, Americans. And if there's any words of advice I can give to Americans who come to Europe to travel for summer, be very specific about where you're going. Don't be like, I'm going to Europe, and then you're going to Finland and somebody else is going to Italy. It's not the same thing. 2, don't be loud. We're loud in general, but like try to keep yourself a bit insular. 3, eat the food that they give you. Don't come and ask for a coq monsieur, but then ask for it without ham or ask for it without eggs. Just don't eat out if you can't do that. And lastly, dress better. That's all I gotta say. Bye, guys. For example, I'm at this little cafe right now, and the lady was serving me, and she was like, oh, you're from America. You know, I had some guys that come in here yesterday and they were so loud and so rude. And then I was on the phone, so then I hung up. And when I spoke to her, I was like, oh yeah, I'm from New York. And she was like, oh, I love New York. I went last year. I saw the Empire State Building, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, and? Like, those are not places I'm excited to see. But it had me thinking, like, they glamorized the life of New York City, because New York City has been in film for, I guess, you know, the last 30, 40 years, 50 years, the same way that we glamorize Paris, the same way we glamorize London, the list goes on.
Everyone loves to slander Americans, especially you Europeans out there. It is what it is at this point, I don't care. But I have to share this compliment that I received, guys, to my fellow Americanos. I met a Danish guy when I was in Costa Rica, and he was telling me all the American stereotypes about how we're so loud, and we talk a lot, and all this stuff, and I was getting ready to receive an insult. And then he was like, I wish I just had an ounce of the joy that you guys have. It's so admirable. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. No, but actually I think it is really admirable because honestly, I feel like we're pretty like high-spirited, we're pretty fun and social, and are not afraid to like be ourselves in public. And I feel like, I mean, it says a lot about us. Like, our country is, you know, we don't really have the best track right now, and the fact that we're still able to like be happy, joyful individuals says a lot about us. So keep being you guys.
Americans will be like, why are you so obsessed with us? We live in rent-free in your head.
Whenever Europeans talk about American culture, or I guess a lack thereof from their perspective, I always get so confused because I think America has like a really, really good culture, but they seem to see it different. I didn't really get it until I was talking to someone about American music and American food, and I referenced like, you know, the origins of rock and country and hip hop and rap and all of that, as well as like soul food, barbecue, stuff like that. And I was like, America has good music and really good food. And their response was with a straight face, that's not Americans though, that's black people. And I was like, oh, that's racist. I mean, I shouldn't expect anything less. It's a European, but like, it still surprises me just how like overtly racist they can be. Worse than Americans, way worse than Americans.
Y'all, as an American living in London, I'm really fighting for my life out here, trying to defend America. I cannot tell you guys how many times someone has heard my accent and realized I'm from America, and they're like, oh, America seems cool, but I would never move there because y'all have too many guns and y'all get shot every single day. Which, to be fair, is a valid point, but I'm like, I don't know if I've just become so desensitized to the rampant gun violence in America that I'm just like, okay, like it's not that deep, which is horrible because it 100% is that deep. But I'm just like, I'm shocked. Like literally all Americans are known for overseas, because this hasn't just happened in London. This has happened in quite a few other countries as well. Everyone just, when they think of America, they think of guns. America is synonymous with guns. And I'm just like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what to say, because we also don't know what's going on. Like, we don't know why our politicians are putting profits over lives. Like, nobody knows what's going on. And I just feel like every single time somebody comments on it, I'm just like, dang, like America has so much more to it. But to be fair, like there is a huge gun violence problem. I don't know. I'm running out of things to say. Like, I'm running out of things to say, ways to defend America. I feel like patriotic Patty. And I really want to say, give America a chance. Like, yes, there's a lot of gun violence, but there's so many other things that America has to offer. But, like, that's an issue. Like, nobody wants to visit a country and be worried for their life. Like, this is so bad, and I generally just don't know what to say anymore.
You know why I don't really get upset when most of these Europeans leave these negative comments on my posts? Is because I understand the distance between America and Europe. You know, it's such a far distance, so when they actually have the opportunity to go to America, it's usually for a vacation. So they'll spend in New York, a week in New York, a week in Miami, a week in LA, and then they'll go back home. They never actually spend more than 3 to 4 months there to understand the culture of the people. So most of the people that don't get to travel to America, their opinions are based off of cartoons, movies, TV series, and even TikTok videos. So why would I get upset knowing that you've never been to that country and you're just basing your videos off of entertainment? It just wouldn't make sense, don't you think?
Guys, let me explain how my trip to New York is going. We went to a train station and I was like, oh, what's Sapporo? She said piss. First day I landed, a rat the side of Garfield just ran past us. The mosquitoes, no respect. Like, at least in Nigeria, like, they'll wait till nighttime. These guys were biting me all day. Yeah. And it smells like urine and feces. And the train has so many suspicious substances and random liquids everywhere. It's very concerning. You're not going to defend your city?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't like it here either.
Okay. American culture and European culture. It's all that we live in different places and become up different. That's all it is. It's, you know, and we're not all, I don't know who's to point the finger who's better. Yes, American culture is more popular, and like we heard in some of those conversations, you know, American culture has took over media, and it's been in a lot of other places just besides America, and people pick up on that. So I can understand why there'd be a couple fingers pointed and just have a high expectation of America. And then, you know, but we have to understand that this is a real world that we're living in, and don't let people decide for you what life is supposed to be through media. You travel and figure it out for yourself. Meet people and understand there's good people and bad people everywhere you go. And the lifestyle that you choose to live and you're most happy with is always up to you. So you guys let me know about this conversation. Are these dynamics and these differences, is that enough to separate us, or could we come together with all this stuff? Think about it. So next time, it's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe.